Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I figured I'd do a therapy session this morning. Opened up to my phone. Happy that I saw the money had cleared. Remember I was telling you guys about the Fidelity thing and all that. So the funds immediately cleared this morning. I was able to transfer them, so they should be en route to my bank. Made sure I double checked. It should go to where I intended to go this time. So that's good. I'm filtering things out of my head that, just like I did yesterday, saw on social media. It was something I just saw right now. Kind of triggered me a little bit. It was a situation where I don't know where this took place, but it was I believe it was some type of fast food restaurant in the South. I believe it might have been, and it was a homeless individual who was, outside the fast food drive-through window, of course, trying to make sure he gets a meal. And so a lady kindly drove up and was willing to do that for him. Was going to order him something, asked him what he wanted, was going to order in the window. And the Popeyes or whatever the place was, I'm not sure if it was Popeyes. It looked like a Popeyes, but could very well have not been. But the fast food joint, they called the cops on the lady who was trying to provide a meal for the man. She tried to order her food for the man. They said no. The lady, of course, said, why not? Why in the world can't I buy food for this individual? And they said, I'm sorry, ma'am, and or something. And I guess the footage, fast forward to when they were calling the cops and fast forward to where the cops had arrived. Now, from what I understand, the conclusion of the situation was they ended up giving the man food. The cops ended up basically disciplining the service people, I guess, for calling them in this situation, and ultimately made sure the man got some food as well. So I'm glad it worked out to where the individual got some food and good energy was ultimately found. But I was very upset. Not necessarily at the worker, because the worker is going to obviously do what they've been told to do, right? And it's one of those situations where I, as a security guard and as someone who's dealt with being responsible for removing homeless people from environments, I also understand what it is they're trying to guard against. They don't want him there. So if he has success in receiving food in that area, he may stay and continue to, as they consider it, harass customers. So he cannot have success in this area, because once that happens, then more come, and that's the mentality of the restaurant, right? No, they can't think it's okay to do this, because it becomes a situation where the word spreads, and then all of a sudden we're the hub for where this takes place. The problem is that's not how I don't know if that's true or not. I don't think that's how that works. I don't think that's how that works at all. I have been the person in that situation a couple times in my life where I bought food for people who've stood outside. Sometimes I've said no. Depends on how I'm feeling. Depends on what I have in my pocket. But if I were looking to do that, and then I'm feeling like, okay, I'm finally getting a chance to do the right thing, and I'm proud of myself. I'm happy I get to feed this person or whatever. And then the person I'm trying to do this for, we're all in agreement. Everybody's ready. And then the establishment won't take my money because I want to purchase something for someone else. And for that to experience the humiliation of that, and then to have to look back at the homeless person and say, I'm sorry, I can't feed you because the establishment refuses me service because of you. Like, that entire experience, for me, that's suable. Me going through that, I want to sue you for that. I want to sue the establishment for putting me through that, for risking my life, putting me in a position to where the cops now are arriving unjustly for me in regards to something that isn't illegal at all. And as, of course, this is a woman of color, so when we talk about the police, we got to guard against certain things based on that environment and such circumstances that we are aware of. Don't always go well for us when the cops are coming for us. It just does not. And so with that understanding, I'm putting that into my equation as well. Nah, that's not okay. Just because it ended well, that scenario should have never happened. Should never happen. There should never be a situation where if I want to use my money to buy food for someone else with your establishment and you just took my money, there should be no reason why you have the right to refuse me service unjustly, regardless of who I'm purchasing what for. Now, if I'm purchasing medication or something like that, as to which there's laws against that kind of thing, certain places you can't buy weed for other people, that kind of thing, that's different. That's an entirely different situation. But within the laws, within what's okay, buying food for a homeless person, I should never have a phone call placed against me to the cops for buying food for another person. That, to me, they should shut that entire restaurant down for that very offense. Because in my mind, that's not a service to the community. That ain't a service to the community. That's a money grab. Because essentially they don't care about the service of the community. They just care about the overall appearance of their business so they can continue to take money from the people. So what else are they neglecting in regards to that? What other things that matter to the people do they not care about? Since they don't want to feed the people around us, ain't nobody saying they have to give away they surplus their food. Ain't nobody saying they have to give away their goods for what it is that they the bread and butter. But if the money's in place to exchange for the goods, then there should be nothing in place keeping you from giving that person those goods. Unless they are doing something that otherwise is disrespectful, and then you got to call the cops to protect yourself. But if that's not the case, then what did you just put them through? What did you do that woman's time? What did you do? What did you put the homeless person through? What was the experience that you gave that customer, those customers in that situation? I'm sorry, places like that I want shut down. Shut you down. If homeless people can't eat there, I don't want to eat there. You understand what I'm saying? That's literally how I feel. Because homelessness is not a permanent situation. It's a condition that people experience in life. A lot of times they fluctuate out of it. Sometimes people can get out of something, but money comes and goes. If me as a person is not welcome somewhere because of where I'm at in my life, then I don't need to be there at any point in my life. I don't need to be there at any point in my life. If I ain't welcome when I'm broke, why the hell I want to be there when I'm okay? So that's one aspect of it. So as far as I can tell, man, I don't have nothing to do with whatever restaurant that is. Whatever it is. I'm glad I don't know. Because I'd probably not go to any of those restaurants anymore just based on how I feel about watching what I saw. So it's probably best I don't tell you guys exactly who it was. And no, I don't know if it was Popeyes or not. I don't think so. But at the end of the day, it's like, that's what it comes down to. Like, as an African American person, as a person who doesn't have a whole lot, as a person who respects levels of respect as it pertains to you treat people the right way, no matter what level they're on. All of that go against me. Every bit of that goes against me. In the understanding that I know against what they're guarding against. In the understanding that I know what it is that they're worried about. Nah, still not okay. Not at all. Find another way. Don't call the cops on people who are trying to feed people who don't have anything. You had better find another way. So that's my point of view, man. I ain't saying give stuff away. That's not responsible. You ain't gonna keep your business that way. But if the money's in place, you shouldn't be refusing people food because of how they are, what their status is. How he's hungry, he needs food. It's the difference between him eating and not. And that's why I talk to the workers specifically. It's like, you follow that order. You follow that order as a person who needs that job. You're gonna do that to somebody who also needs something too. You are a firing away and maybe a tragedy away from being out there your damn self. But you gonna do that? Like, you don't have to do that. And people in fast food workers break small rules all the time. they break small rules all the time. I've done that job more than once. Break small rules all the time. She didn't have to do that. She did not have to do that. But when you start talking about people, it's like, that's a person, where her heart is, where her mind's at, what she's dealing with. You can look at her, she's just one of many, But that's what it comes down to. When you got an establishment like that, and you have rules in place like that, and you hire certain types of people, you're going to understand that you're going to give certain types of experiences when you have all that in place. And I don't think they were expecting anybody to have no camera, and they were calling the cops on that lady. She had the camera. She made sure we all saw it. We all saw it. So that's just where I stand, man. A little bit of a triggering. I figured it was necessary for me to say that because I was triggered by it. Get it all out. So that's how I feel, man. It's funny because I had a argument with a friend of mine a couple days ago. I don't even think I talked about this on the therapy session, but I probably should have. We made it right, though. And I was wrong in how I was reacting. Big time wrong. But I think it came down to a similar conversation, believe it or not. She was upset at me because I was having a meal. And, at the end of the meal, I had a little bit of rice left. And I told her, I spoke to her. I was like, man, I'm full. I'm about to throw this rice out. I don't want it no more. Like, it's done. And she was triggered by that. And there were very good reasons for that. But because of the dynamic between me and this lady back in the day, we were together very close. There's a lot of you know how it is with exes. I think that most people get it. it's magnified. Whatever it is, it's magnified. Whatever the old arguments were from back in the past, it's still the same voice years later. So when you guys have small arguments, it's triggering, right? So you overreact to what it is that she says. It's like it's much more meaningful when she says it, because we have old soul ties that make it so that certain parts of my immature ways are still attached to me, to feelings that were attached to other conversations and stuff like that hasn't been sorted through, but still very tender, that kind of thing. So it's like magnified as to where something small between me and someone else be the biggest argument in the world with me and her. Or if it's something that would maybe rub you the wrong way with me and her, it's disrespect. I don't like what you said. We gotta discuss it. We gotta confront each other. It's like it's over exaggerated, magnified nonsense. And that's what happened, man. That's exactly what it was. We were just discussing that. I told her throwing away the rice just nonchalantly. I didn't think nothing of it. And the moment she was in, she had a conversation with someone, and at the time I didn't know this, but she had a conversation with someone like right before getting on the phone with me that made it so that would be completely triggering, right? She's stuff going on, so I didn't know that. And when she brought that to me, the first thing came to my mind was that she doesn't know what I've been dealing with for the last 2 years. She don't know my life yet. Why is she bringing to me this energy? And what it was she was upset that I was throwing away the rice. She essentially said that there are people in Haiti who don't have nothing. They're starving right now, and you're throwing away food. You could very easily put that back in a bag or put that back in your fridge and reheat it. And I'm like, well, my thinking was, look, I've reheated this rice twice. I got plenty rice left. It's barely a little bit on the plate. I know you can't see my plate because I didn't take a picture of my plate, but it's literally not that much rice. I'm full. So all of that points at, like, I don't see anybody here to get the rice too. You know, if there was someone here, and that's my point of view. I didn't react that way though. I reacted very, very hostilely. Very. Like I blew up completely. Just triggered out, because my thing was everything that I've been kind of dealing with over the last 2 years is because I've perceived such a vast imbalance in our stock market and how it operates. And I perceive that those issues trickle down to poverty. That's the passion from which I've been doing everything I've done over the last 2 years. In my mind, I'm fighting where poverty is initiated. That's how I look at it. That's right. Like, that's what I'm doing. So for her to say that to me, it's like, you don't know what I just put myself through to fight the very thing that you are telling me that you're offended because it seems like I don't care about. And it's like, and we've had all these different conversations and we've talked about various things, and you never were curious enough to find out what I'm passionate about right now. As so to find yourself saying something like this to me, you know, and it's like, I'm triggered by this. You triggered by what I did, but I'm triggered by you bringing that to me. So it's like, how dare you bring that to me? You know my heart. Why do I still have to prove myself to someone who's known me so long, who I've gone through so much with, who I've had such deep conversations about these situations with, of whom we've had lessons learned opposite to where she's learned the importance of respecting homeless people. Like, we've had so with the history, it's like, you should not be bringing that to me, because we both know who each other is. And no, don't do that. That was not the right way to go, because I ended up hanging up the phone all emotionally, just soft on my side. I didn't want to talk. I was at a point where it's like, the next thing that's going to come out of my mouth, I'm going to regret. So it's best I cut the conversation off. And that's another thing. That's the thing. Because it's her, I'm quick to say things that I otherwise would never say to you. I don't like that trait no more than she does. It's not a good thing. I got to fix that. But it is what it is, because of that psychological triggering. It's like, I can't listen to things that I perceive as disrespect from her without desiring to throw disrespect back. It's just a bad, so it's a bad thing that we're trying to work through together, and as friends, you know what I mean? She understands our struggle with that, but at the same time, we have to go through these moments. It's like, she brought to me her triggering, and if you brought me something that triggered you, I'd be like, oh, I apologize. Let me try to readjust my tone or whatever. Her point of view was, look, you could throw your food away. I would prefer you don't verbalize it based on the fact that what I'm feeling inside when I hear those words. I didn't care. I didn't respect that. I didn't even there was no part of me that was receiving that. My thing was, You know me. Don't bring that to me. You know me. Like, you know I would give my food to that person that you're saying that about. I would give them the whole meal and stay hungry. You know that about me. So, like, I was disrespected in my mind and I reacted as such. I hung up the phone and just, didn't get a chance to hear her tell me ultimately what I came back and found out later on when I meditated on what it is that I was thinking, sorted out all the feelings, and then found my accountability and the parts of it that I didn't agree with myself. And I came back to her and I made it right. I did. I apologized. I expressed myself. I told her that I felt like I had the right to throw away my food, but I also felt like I understood where she was coming from. And then when she told me what it is that I refused to listen to, I realized that I agreed with her. like literally. It was like, well, shoot. Essentially what had happened was she had just got off the phone with some family members, and she had been sending money to family members who are in need at the moment. And they have been speaking in dire needs. They're saying that the situation is dire at this point. They need money for food to live. She gets off the phone with those people, talks to me, and I'm throwing food away. Simple as that. See, BDF 44, this person, me, I pride myself on discovering when I am wrong or disagree with myself or deserve to be slapped in the face or what have you, and doing the hard work to make it right, or to look in the mirror and say, you can't skate around the accountability of being wrong here. Like, you have to bring yourself to that space. Kill the ego. Kill the self-destructive mechanism that wants you to destroy your friendships and relationships or what have you. Kill the idea that you can't be wrong or that you can't see a different perspective that you may not be able to see in front of you. And respect the fact that you would want someone else to do that when you're right and they've been wrong. See, I've been the person on the other end of that saying, please respect my triggering. In fact, with her, and I've complained about this on this channel when I said I didn't feel like she was respecting that. But when she brings that triggering to me, I'm too triggered to listen. Nah, that's flawed. That's flawed. That ain't her problem. That's a me problem. I gotta fix that. And you know what I mean? And you guys know I'm on that mission. I don't have no problem being wrong, because this is how you become right. By acknowledging you were wrong, doing the due diligence, sitting there eating crow and spitting it out, and then living to see another day. That's how you have to do it. I take pride in that. I know that's strength. I know it. I don't think it. I know it. That's a more difficult thing to do. Is admitting not only that you were wrong, but that you see the error in your ways and now wish that you would have otherwise listened. And that is where I'm at. I apologize to my friend more than once, because not only did I feel like that rice, after hearing that, I could have ate them couple bites. just symbolically, I could have ate them couple bites because of the severity of the present of that reality and how much I pride myself on being a prayerful person and an unselfish person, all these different things. I probably would have just bit that rice, ate that, kept the stomach being heavy, and then said a prayer to say, symbolically. But my demons got to working. My ego got to working. My old trauma got to working. My old relationship drama got to working. And I wasn't receptive to anything that would otherwise better myself in the moment. And if I wouldn't have did the due diligence to look inward, I would have pushed away my friend, and it would have been my fault. This is how you coerce yourself into having deep regrets for the rest of your life, because you have those moments and then something happens to the person. Or you have those moments, something happened to you. Or you have those moments you never talk to the person again. The energy's never good again. And it is your fault. Nah, that meditation, that prayer, and that belief helped me understand where I was wrong. I went inside of myself and realized, you didn't handle that the way that you would respect someone else handling that on the other end of you. You would be unhappy, you would feel bad, you wouldn't want to talk to them anymore. So how do you make that right? What would you want to see done? I would want you to know where you went wrong. I'd want you to make it right, and I'd want you to acknowledge that my feelings were valid. So I did that. All three of those things. And the energy's good between me and her now. We talked on the phone for several hours after that. Everything ended well. And that's what it's about. It's just making sure that you don't leave people with a bad taste in your mouth about you when you've realized you were wrong. Now, I told her, I stood up for myself and I explained my point of view, and she understood where I was coming from. I told her exactly where I'd been in the last 2 years and how things had gone and how I perceived myself. She proceeded to say she respected that, but then proceeded to tell me the truth, that those two things don't go together. You could be doing a good thing on one side and still be an asshole in this area, and both of those things deserve what it is they deserve. You don't get to put them together and say you're a good guy because you want to do good and bad at the same time. No, I tried that. Didn't work. See what I'm saying? A lot of growth. It's like, okay, yeah, they're together in my mind because it's the driving force of what it is I'm doing, but that doesn't have anything to do with throwing away food and not respecting her saying she wanted to express her triggering and how I had triggered her. You know, that don't give you the right to be disrespectful in that moment just because I'm doing a lot of good stuff over here. Nah, I don't respect that in others. You think just because you donate $1 million to these people that you can go home and be bad to your family? And I'm supposed to acknowledge only the good? No, you're doing good over there, you're doing bad over there, and it cancels itself out. You got more good to do. And that's what it is. That's what it came down to for me. I had to look at myself and say the exact same thing. No. You can be an ape and do all this with all that and still find yourself being a selfish prick that doesn't care about people's feelings in the moment. And that needs correction. So this is what it is, man. We look inward, you get better. Because if you don't, then you are just reinforcing the same thing that everybody else is doing, and you become part of the problem in this world. Just another person that takes away from the best of this planet. Can't do it. Not gonna do it. I'm gonna hold myself accountable, be the good I want to see in the world, be the ever-changing, evolving presence that I want to see in this world, and try to do things right one day at a time. So this is what gives me the confidence to take the stances that I do. Because when it's time for me to look at myself and say, you were wrong, no excuses, I'm happy to do it. Because when I stand on that square and tell you I'm right and mean it, I'm gonna stand there, whether you like it or not, whether you with me or not, whether you agree with me or not. Why? Because ain't nobody here holding me accountable but me. And I'm gonna step off that square where I'm wrong, whether you're telling me I'm on it the right way or not, whether you tell me, hooray, you're doing right or not. If I know I'm not, I'm stepping off. That's what it's about. Keep yourself honest, keep yourself confident, because you know for a fact that when you are wrong, you'll stand for that. So when you are right, can't nobody knock you off of that. My name is BDF 44. I thank you all for watching.